Antonio starts right now.
Thursday, March 19th. Good morning to you. I was telling Leslie earlier between commercial breaks that last night I took Truman, my giant lab, for a walk.
Mini horse.
To
be honest.
And it was nice to see not an unusual number of people outside walking their dogs, walking with their families, teenagers out kind of milling about.
Finding ways to spend time and pass time during this difficult time.
And keeping the distance, of course, but out and about, just kind of, I think, maybe taking a deep breath and enjoying the family time.
It is a difficult time, as I said, that we're in right now, but we have to find ways to get through it together. And this is one brilliant way to do it.
I can do this because...
Oh my gosh, you were already counting down the Christmas days anyway.
Well, that's also true, but my Christmas tree this year is super skinny and portable, so it just went up with like a lawn and leaf bag over it. So I can make Christmas happen right now by bringing it back down and plugging it in.
I think you should do it, and I think you should videotape it and share it like other people are doing.
Okay.
It is getting a lot like Christmas in neighborhoods across the United States.
Users on social media documenting a decidedly cheerful trend that appears to be taking over at least a few streets across America. People hanging up their Christmas lights to try to spread some semblance of cheer during the country's ongoing coronavirus health crisis.
Now, the trend first gained traction on Twitter with users hanging their own decorations and suggesting that others do the same.
And whether spurred on by the tweets or not, several other folks soon took to Twitter with their photos of their own mid-March Christmas decorations, specifically explaining the lights were resurrected to add some much-needed cheer.
One user said, "We need some color and some light." And he said, "We all need some happiness right now." And now the question is this going to be a trend all across the country? Are we going to see Christmas in, what are we in now?
March.
April. So it'll be March, April. Christmas in March.
We could, and for some of us, maybe you even never took the lights down, so just plug them back in.
Just plug them back in. I love it. Let's take a look at your rundown.
As of midnight, sit-down restaurants and other nightlife spots in San Antonio are now officially shut down. It's part of an updated declaration that is in effect for 7 days, but the city council could extend the declaration to 30 days later today.
Hospitals facing major shortages are racing to restock supplies. One doctor in Washington says his hospital will run out of protective gear by this weekend. But now car companies may get involved in supplying hospitals.
A relief package passed by the House was then approved by the Senate and signed into law by President Trump Wednesday. The legislation provides up to 2 weeks of paid leave for some workers.
Many Americans are stranded all around the world thanks to coronavirus.
With so few options, some of them are being told to find an apartment for the next 3 months.
Big change at the New York Stock Exchange. Beginning Monday, the trading floor will be completely empty. The market will still be open, but all trading will be done electronically.
Toyota's plant in San Antonio will temporarily shut down. Toyota, the latest automaker to make a similar announcement following decisions from Ford, General Motors, and Honda. The number of new coronavirus cases in China is finally going down. No new local infections reported for the first time since the outbreak began last year in Wuhan. Governor Greg Abbott has issued a waiver that now allows restaurants to deliver alcoholic beverages to patrons. It includes beer, wine, and even mixed drinks.
Happy birthday to you.
Another sign of the times, the family of 95-year-old Kathleen Burns in Syracuse, New York, singing happy birthday to her from her front yard. Here's a different kind of dessert in these unusual times. A bakery near Philadelphia is selling toilet paper cakes. As long as it's cake, I'm good.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
281.
281?
281 days till Christmas.
Oh, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
But maybe not. Maybe 281 minutes if we go home and put up all our lights.
I know, that's true. And because we're not canceling the real Christmas.
No,
so,
we're not.
No.
Let's take a look outside with live cam. What do you think? I bet your kids would love that.
What is that?
Put the
Hang up
Christmas
Christmas
lights out or a tree back up.
They'd be all about that, actually. That's not a bad idea. Put them to work and...
It gets them busy. I didn't think about that part of it.
Yeah, so put it up, then take it back down.
Exactly.
Put it back up, take it back.
That would actually work out pretty well. You guys may be onto something. We had some showers and storms earlier this morning, some severe weather out west. We had some rain here in town. Didn't add up to a whole lot, but we've got some more rain chances on the way. Let's talk about temperatures real quick. We're at 70 degrees here in San Antonio, 68 degrees Uvalde, 70 in Carrizo Springs. Another warm, humid morning. This is the last of that, though, because we're going to see a cold front coming through tomorrow morning. Cools us down. 82 the high temperature, mostly cloudy today. We're not expecting a lot of rain during the daytime. Again, those rain chances will pick back up tonight into tomorrow morning with that cold front. All right, let's take a look at the radar. You can see there that most all of the rain has moved out, and we're pretty much left with the all clear here, just cloudy skies. Quick update on the pollen count. Mold is high, oak is high. No big surprise here, but man, we're all suffering with those numbers. Hackberry is low, mulberry is also low. So we have a quiet day today, but tonight, 60% chance of rain by 4 a.m. By tomorrow morning, 70% chance of rain. Cold front coming through, gusty winds, and it's much cooler by tomorrow afternoon and this weekend. We've got the latest on that coming up in just a few minutes. Guys.
Outside, let's take a look at your early Christmas forecast, and it's looking pretty good out there. The roads are looking good, too, as well. There's 35 at Benz Engelman. We are seeing lighter traffic overall, and that will be the trend for the foreseeable future. Traffic is running smoothly there at 35 at IH-37 and also at I-35 and Evans Road.
San Antonio City Council will vote this morning to extend an emergency declaration ordering bars and restaurant dining rooms to close amid the coronavirus pandemic.
San Antonio Mayor Ron Nierenberg announced the mandatory closure of non-essential businesses on Wednesday. The declaration in effect for 7 days, but council will decide today whether to extend it to 30 days. The vote expected to take place any minute now. We will be live streaming it on KSAT.com.
And we've been getting a lot of questions about which businesses are considered non-essential. So here's a list of what emergency declaration includes. Businesses that are closed include bars, lounges, nightclubs, taverns, private clubs, gyms, health studios, indoor commercial amusement businesses, bowling alleys, and bingo parlors.
Businesses that are exempt include grocery stores, gas stations, the airport, public or private schools and child care facilities, places of worship, funeral homes, museums, bus stops, offices, hotels, and residential buildings. Mayor Nierenberg also added that any businesses not listed here, such as hair and nail salons and tattoo shops, are allowed to stay open if they so choose. Right now, these restrictions only apply to businesses in the San Antonio city limits.
Governor Greg Abbott is expected to hold a press conference today to give an update on Texas's efforts to combat the coronavirus.
The governor will be joined by representatives from the Texas Department of State Health Services and the Texas Division of Emergency Management. The governor said yesterday up to 20,000 test kits are expected to arrive this week, boosting the state's ability to identify COVID-19 cases.
The press conference is scheduled to happen at noon, and we will bring it to you live right here on KSAT 12.
Governor Abbott will also be holding a virtual town hall meeting later today so he can speak directly to people across the Lone Star State.
He will talk about the coronavirus response with officials from health, education, and emergency management. Now, of course, this is not a typical town hall because there will be no audience. So it's your chance to ask the governor a question. You can submit one on social media in writing or on video for 20 seconds or less.
Use hashtag AskAbbott to send us your questions. You have till 5 p.m. today. We're partnering with Nexstar Media Group to broadcast this important discussion. You'll be able to watch it right here on KSAT 12 and online at KSAT.com tonight from 7 to 8 o'clock.
Fears over the coronavirus haven't stopped volunteers from stepping up to help the most vulnerable.
Our KSAT community partners also doing their part through the phone bank to help Meals on Wheels San Antonio, the nonprofit currently serving 5,000 seniors in the city and Bexar County. But each day, more people are put on a wait list.
Alicia Barrera is live from Meals on Wheels with more. Hi, Alicia.
Hi, good morning. Well, you guys, yes, 5,000 senior citizens here in Bexar County are being helped right now, but much more, like you said, are on the wait list. And this is what they can expect as an extra bonus. This is the emergency food kit that they'll receive. And then you can see here some mac and cheese, some crackers, raisins, Ensure, some tomato juice, just some extra things. And this will help feed them for an extra 4 days. And volunteers, again, they're the ones that are making this happen. But thankfully, that's not the big need right now. Right now, the need is the monetary donation. So live with us, we're practicing social distancing here. We have CEO of Meals on Wheels, Mr. Vincent Ferris. Good morning. About how many senior citizens are on the wait list right now?
Good morning, Alicia. We have right at 630 on the wait list. These more of an interest list. Not all of them have been qualified for us to even do the assessment. One of the challenges that we have, like the social distancing we're practicing here, we're no longer longer having our caseworkers go into the home. So we're doing the assessments over the phone, slowing things down, but we have to make sure we're putting the most appropriate people on. The people we normally serve on a daily basis have already self-quarantined simply by circumstance. We've asked everyone to self-quarantine across San Antonio, stay indoors unless they are really, really isolated, really frail, have a medical condition that's really impairing them to be able to stand up, prepare a meal. Those aren't the folks to call. Those that are in greatest need who we need to be reaching out to right now.
And there's several ways that people can donate. They can either call, they can go on the KSAT, Venmo, online, several different ways. If people don't step up to help, what could happen?
Well, if people don't step up to help, it's going to slow things down. But we're determined to go forward, serving as many people as we can. We're continuing with our hot daily meals now for an indefinite period of time. We're preparing contingency meals, putting as many extra meals in the clients' homes now as we can get there. We're preparing frozen meals and then the shelf-stable meals that you're talking about. We're going to keep going forward. Lack of resources is going to slow us down, but we're going forward.
Thank you so much for being with us this morning. Again, Vincent Ferris with CEO of Meals on Wheels San Antonio. And again, they need your help. We're going to be here this morning talking about the efforts that are going on in order to serve 5,000 senior citizens here in Bexar County. Reporting live, Alicia Barrera, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Alicia.
Well, the need for blood is stronger than ever right now. To help meet that need, we're holding a blood drive with our KSAT community partners. It's happening tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at 8401 Data Point Drive.
We should stress this is not a walk-in event. People who want to donate will have to make an appointment. We have a link to sign up at ksat.com/KSAT community. Rolling right along, 9:09, 70 degrees still ahead on GMSA at 9.
Headlines surrounding the coronavirus could be a lot to take in. Well, imagine coming back to reality and seeing all those headlines after completely unplugging for weeks. How one couple went from paradise to chaos.
And later, we'll find out why Texas's top education official has let individual school districts and universities decide whether to close during the corona pandemic and for how long.
And amid all the craziness happening in the world, we're continuing to find some good. How a New Hampshire neighborhood is using music to cope with the coronavirus pandemic.
Let's see how the Dow is doing right now. It's down about 75 points or 0.36% at 19,823.
Welcome back. It is now 9:13. The coronavirus has reached the halls of the U.S. government, and the spin cycle got an extra spin. David will explain.
Rescues from high water taking place in Oklahoma, and a way to ease the virus stress. David joins us now live here in the studio.
Hi, David.
Morning.
Creativity at its best these days.
Oh, tell us
more.
more.
With this coronavirus, people having to stay home, so people are coming up with some great ideas to entertain themselves and help neighborhoods. We'll have that for you in just a second. But first, the coronavirus has now infiltrated the nation's capital by infecting two members of Congress, Representatives Mario Diaz-Balart from Florida and Republican and Democrat Ben McAdams from Utah. Diaz-Balart said in a statement that he had a fever and a headache but is feeling better and said the public needs to take COVID-19 extremely serious. McAdams also working from home, a doctor now checking on other members of Congress who might have been exposed to the virus by those congressmen. So crazy things happening these days. Look at this driver coming through the parking lot. Whoa, here's another angle from inside. Back up, don't get hit. Woo, it's happening in Pittsburgh. You're watching surveillance video. Nobody was in that part of the laundromat at the time. It happened at 5 o'clock in the evening. The car crashed into the area where people would have been buying soaps and snacks if they were there. The driver, an elderly woman. The name of the business? The Spin Cycle. Kind of ironic. The owner heading back today to check out the damage, then clean up and hopefully open up. Apparently, Mother Nature has no fear of the coronavirus. She is still creating havoc. This is a shot under a highway in Oklahoma City. You can see the car right there. Highway up here. Police blocking it off because it's flooded. Heavy storms rolled through parts of the state, left a lot of water behind. Police and firefighters had to respond to several high water rescues. The storm's headed for the Midwest. They're expecting some more of the same out there. Justin will have more on that coming up in just a second. And there you go. People coming up with all kinds of ways to ease the stress of the coronavirus. A 3-member band on the street corner every night just before the sun sets. This happening in New Hampshire. Neighbors head to the corner to join in or just enjoy.
I think there's something about saying goodnight in a way that, and stay safe, that has a sort of a communal feeling about it. It just seemed like a way to put the neighborhood to bed every night.
Great stuff. And as you can see from the video, they are keeping their social distance. So how awesome is that? Cool.
I just like how people are getting so creative and finding ways to lift spirits up in this very scary time.
We're all adjusting. We don't have much of a choice, but time to make the best of it, right?
But it's cool. I mean, people coming up with some very creative ways, like you said, and then, I mean, you know, just go out and enjoy a little music before you go to bed.
I like it.
Ease the stress.
At this point, I would watch lawn darts on TV. Okay, just
lawn
saying.
darts.
Yeah,
now
there's
you
not
can
much else.
You know,
to
lawn
watch.
darts are kind of dangerous.
It's a little
They can
extreme.
be. I have the scar to prove it. David, thank you very much. Right now, 9:16, 70 degrees.
Let's bring Justin Horn into this. We had a little bit of rain. Gosh, there was some lightning and thunder early this morning. What about the rest of today?
Busy. And by the way, lawn darts, I think ESPN's showing that now. They've run out of sports.
On the Ocho.
Yeah, maybe some curling in there too. It was busy this morning. We had some showers and storms, severe storm out across the hill country. First, though, I want to take a look back at this day in weather history. We're going to go back to 2012. Maybe you remember this. We had a tornado that hit Devine back in 2012 on this date. You can actually see the picture there. Did quite a bit of damage. Several homes were destroyed. We had another tornado that moved through southern Bexar County. That was a really busy day. So it shows you that severe weather season can start pretty early around here. Also of note, today is the spring equinox. During the winter, the southern hemisphere gets more sunlight. At the equinox, we get equal sunlight, both northern and southern hemisphere. And that's what we're dealing with today. The northern hemisphere in the summer obviously gets more sunlight. But spring begins 10:49 p.m. tonight. And we're going to go into spring with a cold front. So things change really tomorrow morning with this frontal boundary. Brings some pretty good rain chances with it. But most of the rain that we're dealing with now is moved out. We've still got a couple storms there north of Fredericksburg, but that piece of energy is moving off to the north and east. We did see some decent rainfall in spots last night. This track here is basically one strong storm, severe storm, in fact, that moved from Del Rio up to Rock Springs, Mountain Home, over towards Harper. Harper picked up over an inch of rain there. And then here around San Antonio, we had some showers and storms develop. Here, we're talking about 1/10 of an inch at most, really, with the showers and storms this morning. But hopefully we can add to that next few days. Here's a look at the time lapse. You can see some of the showers and storms coming through a little bit earlier. There was some lightning with these storms. 70 degrees right now. Dew point is at 66, and we're still dealing with mostly cloudy skies and east-southeasterly winds at about 9 miles per hour. It's warm, it's humid. This hasn't changed. Last few days, we've been right here, right around 70 degrees. And looking at the radar and satellite, we've got quite a bit of weather stretching from Omaha, Wichita, over to St. Louis. David mentioned more severe weather up here across the Midwest today. Then on the backside of it, you've got snow. Our area of low pressure is starting to move off to the north and east. We've got one frontal boundary here, so that may help to kick up some storms tonight. But this is the front I want to watch. This one's going to dive down and be here tomorrow morning. That's going to bring in the cooler air. And the number's pretty chilly up there. 27 in Casper, 17 Cut Bank. We'll feel some of this cooler air. Temperatures will be in the 50s this weekend. Futurecast shows not much going on today, but as we get into tonight, showers and storms blossom. This is around 3 a.m. And here comes that front that will enhance rain chances too. So tomorrow morning, likely a bit wet. Showers and storms hang on through midday. We'll still see a chance for some showers even in the afternoon. It'll calm down just a little bit, but it picks back up on Saturday. We'll get more chances for rain, and it will be chilly, as we mentioned. Severe weather risk is there tonight, but it's a marginal risk. So on a scale of 1 to 5, we're talking about a 1 here. There's an outside chance a couple of these storms could be strong. We'll be here for you if they do. Temperatures today, 82 degrees for a high, and then we'll drop back down into the mid-70s by 8 o'clock, and then the rain chances kick in after that. 70% tomorrow, likely 58 degrees by the afternoon. What a change. 55 on Saturday, 60% chance of showers. Just an outside chance of a shower on Sunday, and we start to warm up. Next week looks awful warm, especially by midweek. We could be pushing 90 by the middle part of next week. Guys.
You have our attention. Thank you very much, Justin. Interesting forecast. Still ahead on GMSA at 9.
A couple who came back to reality after being away almost a month without any connection to the outside world is finding things are quite different now. Their hilarious reaction to what they're calling the world going crazy.
Biggest news story in the world right now is the coronavirus pandemic. But if you've been on a 25-day trip rafting the Grand Canyon, you might not even know about it.
That makes returning to civilization a rude awakening. CNN's Jeannie Most reports.
Imagine you're off in paradise. a magical place.
Rafting through the Grand Canyon. And after 25 days, your group is met on the riverbank by a driver who picks up your gear and asks,
"Have you had any contact with the outside world?" Rolled his eyes and sighed.
He then proceeds to give you the headlines.
The stock's plunging yet again.
We're fighting a war. You have to behave like you have the virus.
Italy's in lockdown, and the thing they really didn't understand, a toilet paper shortage?
It was a real instant switch from happiness to like confusion and kind of fear, and we all just kind of got quieter.
When Kate Condino and her boyfriend Mason Thomas left for the rafting trip, they considered coronavirus an inconvenience.
My biggest worry was getting sick before the trip.
Now they're worried about Mason's mom, who has pre-existing lung problems. As the group returned to cell service, their phones lit up.
That's when I got a text from my mom saying, "You need to call me immediately. The world's going crazy. Don't touch anybody."
Mason, who goes by the river rafting nickname One Chain, related to a comment posted to this New York Times story about their return. Is anyone else thinking about Charlton Heston and the Planet of the Apes?
Damn you all to hell!
Even coronavirus isn't quite this apocalyptic. Actor Jared Leto is having a similar back-to-civilization moment. He tweeted, "Wow, 12 days ago I began a silent meditation in the desert. Walked out into a very different world. Mind-blowing." You washing your hands a lot? They already were to avoid spreading germs while camping. Don't touch your face.
Oh, you saw that? Oh, no.
Kate said as their trip ended,
I was excited to go home and like hug all my best friends.
At least she's still hugging Mason. Compared to a rapidly changing world of masks and sanitizers, rapids and ignorance are bliss. Jeannie Moe, CNN, New York.
That would be a bit unnerving.
Oh, I imagine there's people out there that still don't know what's going on.
And when they find out, they're going to be just as shocked as they were.
Eye-opening indeed. 9:26 right now, 70 degrees at San Antonio International Airport.
One of the things that makes San Antonio so great is the community's willingness to come together and help those in need. Some ways to help people amid the coronavirus pandemic coming up.
How are other Texas cities responded to the COVID-19 pandemic? Alana Rocha will be here to talk about it in our Tribune Thursday report.
And checking the roadways with TransGuide. 35 at 37 looks just fine. 35 at Evans looks good as well.
Welcome back. The coronavirus pandemic has affected all of us in ways both large and small. It's also changed how we cover the news and current events in the state of Texas.
Alana Rocha from the Texas Tribune joins us from home this morning as the Trib staff follows Austin City guidelines to work remotely. We're doing that a lot around here, too. Good morning, Alana.
Good morning.
All right, first of all, let's talk about the cities. How are cities across Texas operating in the wake of this threat?
Well, I mean, it's kind of a patchwork approach. Many are mimicking each other as far as, the major cities closing bars, limiting restaurant service and things like that. But, it is a patchwork approach, which public health experts say can be confusing for some people, not knowing, their movements from one county to the next. And also, can be counterintuitive as far as from a containment aspect.
Let's talk about schools, Alana. Parents watching these decisions very closely. Why is the Education Commissioner leaving it up to individual districts and universities whether to close schools and for how long?
Yeah, these, again, more of a decentralized approach from the top, in contrast with some nearly 30 other states that have closed schools statewide, and again, closed bars, limited, gyms and things like that, because it's a big decision, and they wanted to wait to see how this would play out. We do know from the governor and numbers that are reporting and you're reporting that this thing is spreading, and I think there was reservations in the beginning from, say, closing schools statewide when, somebody in Tyler had nothing to do with somebody in El Paso, but now we see it more widespread, and we are expecting an announcement from the governor this afternoon around noontime, and he's alluded to the fact that this is, more widespread now, and so we might see more top-down regulations.
All right, let's talk about the hospitals and health care. Texas hospitals don't have enough beds for coronavirus patients if too many people get sick at once. What did the Tribune's reporting show?
Yeah, our Edgar Walters, health reporter, who has been busy to say the least, looked at this and found that Texas has 2.9 beds per 1,000 people. What that means, put it in contrast with other countries that are further along in this process. Italy has 3.2 beds per 1,000, so slightly higher than what we have, and they've seen 2,100 deaths. Then look at South Korea. They have 12 beds, so 4 times as many than we have per 1,000, and they've only seen 75 deaths. But, listening from the governor yesterday, he said he's conducted conference calls with all the hospital CEOs and that he's confident in their ability to handle this, not only with their current capabilities, but contingency plans, erecting pop-up tents, to address a larger inflow, working with hotels to isolate those who are maybe not critical, but, to stem the spread of this.
Alana, how else can we keep tabs on what you guys are covering there at the Trib?
Well, our whole homepage at texastribune.org are different aspects of this, is from, immigration to telemedicine. Today, a story again from Edgar Walters. But the best way is signing up for our new newsletter that will give you kind of the highlights from each day from our coverage. You sign up at texastribune.org/subscribe.
It is a scary and difficult time. Really appreciate all your hard work and sharing your knowledge with us and our viewers.
Thank you. Take care.
And hats off to Alana for pulling that off with 2 little ones in the house.
And we didn't hear a peep out of them.
We didn't hear a peep. I think they were upstairs.
Mother Nature wasn't very quiet overnight.
No, she was busy. We had some storms out west, actually one big storm that produced some hail, some gusty winds, and then we had some showers and storms here around San Antonio. That's all cleared out now, so we're quieting down quite a bit, but it picks back up tonight. Let's take a look at radar, show you what's going on. You can see those showers and storms up around Waco now. They're moving away from us. So we're basically going to give us the all clear here. 70 degrees at the airport, 70 at Randolph, 70 Stinson, 71 in Floresville. So we're off to a pretty warm start. Up around 82 this afternoon, mostly cloudy, southeasterly winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. You'll notice most of today still quiet, but it's tonight. We get those storms back in the forecast. 60% chance by 4 a.m. and by tomorrow morning, even for the morning commute, if you do have to go to work, there will be some showers and storms around, so be aware. And it will be much cooler by tomorrow afternoon, too. We're going to talk more about that cold front and its impacts on our forecast. That's coming up in just a few minutes. Guys.
Thank you, sir. TransGuide right now. We don't see any problems there at 35 and Evans Road, nor do we at 35 North at Loop 410.
Well, currently 5,000 seniors in Bexar County are depending on Meals on Wheels to receive their food. Even more on a wait list.
It's true. In order to keep the supply and demand in check, Meals on Wheels needs the community's help with donations. Alicia Beretta, live from Meals on Wheels, San Antonio, with more on today's KSAT Community Phone Bank. We say good morning to you, Alicia.
Hi. Good morning. Well, just in 30 minutes, y'all probably noticed the big difference behind me. It was full of the Meals on Wheels delivery trucks, but right now, pretty empty, and that's a good sign. Talk more about this. We have Forrest Mine. She's the Chief Development Officer for Meals on Wheels San Antonio. We're obviously wanting people to donate. There's a number to call. There's places to donate online. Absolutely. Cash App, even Venmo. How far can $10, $15 go for our senior citizens?
It really is amazing what we can do with that money. We are sending out at the end of this week and beginning of next week emergency food boxes. It's going to be the equivalent of 4 days worth of food for our clients. So we want it to sit in their pantry, and we're going to keep delivering as long as we can. But if we can't for some reason, then they've got some food. We're going to hopefully send out several rounds of those boxes. Each box is $7, and it's 4 days worth of food. So $15 gets us 2 boxes. That's 2 of our clients that will have food in their pantry just in case we can't deliver for some reason.
And those boxes we actually have down here, those are some of the ones that they'll be receiving by the end of this week. How important is it, for the senior citizens to be healthy, to have food like this, a warm meal even, if they do end up going to the hospital? How can a meal like this help?
Right, it's critical. So it's not just in case we can't deliver, it's because if they do get sick, it's better for them to be nourished. Just in general, that's one of the things we try to do outside of, what's happening with the coronavirus. We know that most of the clients that we serve, if they end up going to the hospital, part of the reason that they're going is a nutrition related issue. And so as much food as we can get to them them, keep them, have a lot of calories in their body, keep them healthy. That's going to give them better health outcomes. And certainly now, when we're in this situation, they'll be so much better off if they've got food.
Forrest, thank you so much for being with us this morning. So again, they're taking donations. That's the big thing that they need. Thankfully, volunteers have stepped up. Fears of coronavirus haven't stopped them from being here, delivering these meals to more than 5,000 senior citizens here in Bexar County, and so many on the wait list, more than 600 on the wait list waiting to be screened. So they are taking new clients. But the big thing, again, that they need is those monetary donations. So that number to call, 1-866-806-6972. You can also head over to KSAT.com to find those links on where you can donate online. Reporting live, Alicia Barrera, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Alicia.
Thank you, Alicia. We have breaking news just coming into our newsroom. 2 TSA baggage screening officers at New York's JFK Airport have tested positive for the coronavirus. So we'll keep you posted on that. It seems like that's all we're talking about. And people are having to stay home and quarantine and social distance. And they can't go to the gym because the gyms are closing.
That's also true. Yeah, back during the holidays, a personal trainer over in Houston came up with some great at-home exercises. And here's what the great thing about them. They're free, and they don't require any equipment. Anybody can do these things. Maybe just stretch a little first.
And yeah, he says these are 5 exercises you could do at home, 1 minute for each one.
All right, so we begin with the good old-fashioned jumping jacks.
Yeah, those are push-ups, but we begin with jumping jacks according to him. Push-ups are good too.
That's how I do jumping jacks.
That's not how you're supposed to do them.
I know.
Bike riding is an option, but that's not on his list either. Mountain climbers.
Mountain climbers, yeah,
that's on the list. Do you know what a mountain climber is?
Yeah, I remember them. Trust me, from training with you. It's that push-up position with your hands underneath, and you move your knees up and down like you're climbing stairs.
Like you're climbing stairs.
Yeah.
Those are great ones, and this one is great for your bottom. Jump squats. And that means literally you squat, you jump up in the air, and you go back down for 1 minute. Doing that for a minute? That'd be hard.
Half burpees, similar to a mountain climber. Start the push-up, then you bend your knees and move your jump towards your elbows, all while keeping your hands stationary before using your legs to jump back to the push-up position.
Yeah, those are painful. And how about this? Just walking. A very simple and basic exercise that is effective. If it's cold or rainy, doing some walking around a mall, well, those are closed, probably too. Another big building will work just fine. So no, you're gonna have to walk around your neighborhood or your house, or maybe running up and down the stairs for a minute.
This article is on our website at KSAT.com.
It's an idea.
Right now we are at 9:39, 70 degrees.
You're watching GMSA at 9. The coronavirus pandemic seems to be creating a sense of helplessness for some. Doesn't need to be the case. After the break, 8 ways you can still help people while maintaining social distance.
So the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases has been growing larger every day, and the rate at which it's growing has health experts concerned. So basically, if the trend continues this way, the United States could overwhelm the healthcare industry's ability to care for infected individuals. If enough people in Texas got sick, capacity would become an urgent crisis. But the worst case scenario can be prevented through social distancing. By closing schools and restricting public events and large gatherings, the virus will spread much slower, therefore flattening the curve. If you have a question, head to KSAT.com and submit it in our SAQ article, and we'll get to it as soon as possible.
Well, the pandemic has led to many San Antonians staying at home at the guidance of federal government and, of course, health experts.
There may be a sense of helplessness, but there are still several ways to help the community in this time of need.
RJ Marquez breaks down some of the ways you can help.
Right now on KSAT.com, 8 ways to help your fellow San Antonians during the coronavirus pandemic. So you may be feeling stuck at home, you may be feeling a little bit helpless, but there are still several ways to help those in need. That includes donating to the San Antonio Food Bank. They right now are currently trying to feed hundreds of thousands of South Texans who are in need. How about donating blood or giving blood? There is a blood drive taking place at the Alamo Dome this week, but if you can't make it out, head out to your local blood center because the blood supply is critical at this very moment. How about volunteering for Meals on Wheels? Of course, many seniors depend on that service, and many people that are homebound depend on that for food. There are ways to find out how to help out there on our website, and also donating to homeless shelters. Right now, Haven for Hope has suspended its volunteer program, but they, of course, are accepting monetary donations. There are several other ways, including the American Red Cross, if you want to help out more on a global scale, or if you just want to stay local, go to our website, KSAT.com, and there you could find the full list.
Okay, 9:45, and our temperature is about to fluctuate a bit. We've had some rain, and maybe we have a little bit more of a chance of a rain.
It's 70 degrees now. We're not going to get anywhere close to that in a few days, though. Right, Justin?
No, we're going to get a cold front coming through, and that's going to change things a little bit. And real quick, guys, I want to talk some about...
That's where I was going with that.
Yes, that's right.
This is a question we've been getting. How is weather going to affect this COVID-19 virus? And it's a really good question. I tried to dig through some studies, and the bottom line here is jury is still out. We don't have enough data to really say one way or the other. But some of the studies I did read, that there's a couple of studies there in China that say there could be a link to some cooler, drier air. Now, we know the flu tends to go away during the summer. There's no reason to think, though, that this is going to behave like the flu. That Chinese study also said there's certain latitudes that perhaps this virus thrives at. That's still up in the air. We do know that UV rays, sun, tends to help kill the virus a little bit. So that's some good news, I suppose. But a report from Harvard says there's no correlation to humidity and heat. So all that to say, we really don't know. But as we get more data, maybe we'll get a better idea. We just can't plan to think that the summer's going to help us out here with this virus. So
Understood.
Just a little bit of information.
Thanks for looking into it, though.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's talk about the drought situation we have here around South Texas. We do still have an extreme drought in a lot of spots. Basically the same spots we were looking at last couple of weeks. What I've done here is put the radar over top of the drought monitor. And unfortunately, the rain we saw this morning, which is pretty good with this storm here, fell over areas that are not in drought. Most of the areas that need the rain didn't get much this morning, if any at all. We did get a little bit here around San Antonio. That was around 4 o'clock. You see some of those showers and storms developing. And most of Bexar County is still pretty good. It's really south of town where we could use some rain. Good news, we still have more chances, and I think as we get into tonight, tomorrow morning, these areas will see some rainfall, and hopefully that helps things out a little bit. Here's the Doppler radar. Notice that basically everything has moved out here. We've got quiet conditions for now and mostly cloudy skies. We did have a storm report overnight. That was out near Del Rio. Golf ball size hail reported near the Amistad Reservoir there, and that was with that big time storm that started near Del Rio, actually started in Mexico, made its way through Rock Springs all the way up to north of Fredericksburg, and then moved north and east and out of the area. But it prompted quite a few warnings this morning. We also had storm reports up across North Texas. A tornado touchdown, in fact, around Abilene. So it was a busy day yesterday. There will be some more storm reports today, but I think they'll probably be up across the Midwest. That's where that piece of energy is moving. Outside right now, looks like we've got some hazy conditions, 70 degrees, cloudy skies. Dew point is at 66, east-southeasterly winds at about 9 miles per hour. We're right at about 70 here in Bexar County. You'll find some 60s in the hill country, and then some warmer stuff to the south, slightly cooler stuff to the north, but still pretty uniform temperatures. And as we look at the big picture across the country, I mentioned some of that severe weather. Well, it's going to be moving into places like Missouri today and Illinois as that storm system moves north and east. But on the back side of it, there's some cooler air. You notice the snow there around Denver. Temperatures are cold enough there, and that's because of this front here. That front will be moving through tomorrow morning through South Texas. It'll bring us cooler air. It'll bring some decent rain chances and some gusty winds as well. So that'll be the big change tomorrow. Here's what the futurecast looks like by this afternoon. Not much to see. I think it's a pretty quiet day. We get the warm temperatures again. But by 3 a.m., boom, here comes the showers and storms. Fairly widespread as this front comes through. This is around 7 o'clock. Still think we've got a good chance of rain. And then here comes the cooler air. By midday, we'll see maybe a little bit less in the way of activity, and that's certainly the case by the afternoon. Can't rule out some showers. But the showers and rain build back in on Saturdays. We've got more chances here, and it'll be a sort of a cool, damp day for Saturday at least. There is an outside chance of a strong storm or two as we get into tonight and tomorrow morning. There's a marginal risk of some severe weather. We'll keep an eye on that. Otherwise, 82 degrees today, cloudy to mostly cloudy, and those chances of rain kicking in overnight. 58 by tomorrow afternoon, 55 on Saturday with a 60% chance of rain, just a few showers on Sunday, And then the sun's back out next week, and those temperatures warm up as a result. We'll be right back.
So if you're feeling sick, you are urged to stay home and recuperate. Most people will only have mild symptoms and will recover within a few weeks. Now, if you experience shortness of breath or chest pain, call your healthcare provider and he or she will advise you what to do next. If you don't have a doctor, you can call ahead to an urgent care clinic. Those without medical insurance should call a federally qualified health center, including CommuniCare, Central Med, and University Health System clinics. It is important to note that officials do not want people to go to the ER. Testing for COVID-19 is done through a doctor's office, not at Metro Health. Now, hospitals and first responders have implemented new protocols to try to protect workers from the new virus. Under the new protocol, only 1 or 2 paramedics may respond to your call. They will stay 6 to 8 feet away and ask you some questions before treating you, and they may ask you to call your healthcare provider if it's not an emergency. Only true emergency cases will be transported to the hospitals. The San Antonio Metropolitan Health District has opened a hotline for Bexar County residents with questions about the novel coronavirus. Residents can call 210-207-5779 during weekdays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The COVID-19 hotline is available in English and Spanish. The United Way helpline will guide people with questions about local health services. That number is 211. For more questions that you want answered, head to KSAT.com and submit them in our SAQ article.
A reminder about Governor Greg Abbott's virtual town hall meeting this evening. He will be discussing the state's coronavirus response. If you have a question you'd like to ask the governor, you can submit it right now through social media. Just use the Ask Abbott hashtag.
We are accepting your questions until 5 p.m. The virtual town hall is from 7 to 8 tonight. Of course, you can watch it right here on KSAT 12 and on KSAT.com. Justin?
And right now we're seeing temperatures in the 60s and low 70s, mostly cloudy skies. We're going to see quite a bit of cloud cover today, up around 82. Showers and storms will kick in tonight. We'll see a cold front coming through tomorrow morning, brings about big changes, breezy, cooler, good chances of rain tomorrow and on Saturday as well. Highs only in the mid-50s on Saturday.
Wowza.
Two more bits of breaking news. We just saw that Prince Albert of Monaco.
Prince Albert, the palace is saying that Prince Albert of Monaco has tested positive for the coronavirus.
And Tulsi Gabbard has just dropped out of the 2020 Democratic presidential primary. So never a dull moment these days in the news business.
Everybody's kind of been scratching their head. What's up with the big run on toilet paper? Why is everybody hoarding toilet paper, right?
Yeah. Right.
So this one place in Encinitas, California, well, they're deciding that there's neighbors who've decided how to handle this.
Yeah, so what they're doing is there's a guy standing on a street corner going, share your toilet paper. Johnny Blue told the San Diego Union Tribune Saturday the response to his impromptu exchange in Encinitas was immediate and positive and two-ply.
It's just drivers honking their horns in support, stopping to drop off rolls of toilet paper, and they drop them off. He handed them out. Somebody said, "How much do I owe you?" And he's like, "Nothing." People are giving them, and so I'm giving them.
He told the newspaper he made his sign after a friend had a difficult time finding diapers and essential supplies for his kids. I think people want a sense of community when things are really challenging. People are looking to band together and be unified.
Hallelujah.
Spare a square.
Spare a square. That's hilarious.
I like that.
Seinfeld.
Oh, that's good. Thanks for being with us, everybody.
See you at noon.